Welcome back to anyone who has decided to let themselves suffer by watching the bald man build an airplane. This is video number 5 of the aft fuselage slash tailcone build. I am deburring and doing some step drilling of the 4th and 5th bulkheads from the rear. I suppose they should probably be numbered from the front, but since I'm working rear from the back forward, I have just put them into those numbers in my head. Oh well. Doesn't matter. It still builds the same way. So we've deburred and dimpled the flanges on those. The last one you saw had a service bulletin on it, and Vans, since my kit was put together after that service bulletin, is fitted with the stuff ahead of time, and it's in the plans. Something about the rudder bracket or the rudder cable bracket that you can kind of see sticking up there that I'm riveting right about there, and then two sort of forward L brackets, I guess you'd call them, that stick off the bottom and attach to the skin. I don't know what the service bulletin was because my kit was not affected by it. I just built it how the plans say so. I assume what happened was that 4th bulkhead was kind of weak and maybe started cracking over time already. And they added the L bracket sort of, or the stiffeners, shear clips. I think you'd call them shear clips, to attach to the skin to keep the flanges from bending on it. I'm not a structural engineer. I'm not an aeronautical engineer. I'm just looking at what I've seen so far in this build process as far as what looks strong and what doesn't. And yeah, that 4th one didn't look strong on its own. You add those two little stiff shear clips to the bottom, it looks a lot stronger. So this is that I'm working on now. I'm putting nut plates, which are basically like, what's the best way to describe them? They are riveted on lock nuts. So that way when you screw something into them, a screw of course, they've got this little oval shaped hole, and they're threaded. It's like a little lock nut. So, works really well to just put a screw into there. You don't have to worry about putting a lock nut on the other side of it. They're permanently attached to the substructure. So these are the bell crank flanges and then the other sort of L brackets, or I don't know what you call those things, that sit on top of them. That's where the bell crank for the pitch attach is going to go, as well as the autopilot servo for pitch. So again, pitch is the axis in which you bring the nose up or down, and that affects your airspeed and or your rate of change of altitude. So this is the structure that is going to hold that. The bell crank basically is what's going to translate the control stick movement back to the elevator movement. And then this is the front bulkhead for that setup, where this is basically the frontmost portion of the tail kit that I have. It's where we've got some wire attach points that go through there, and the bell crank ribs attached to that. And I'm going to say this right ahead of time. You're going to see me drill out a couple things. I'm going to rivet some stuff, and then I'm going to drill things out. Some of the riveting that happens between that front piece and the bell crank ribs, as well as the bell crank ribs and that 5th bulkhead, I don't know how people access those. I've got several different bucking bars. I could not figure out how to get to those. I drilled one out at one point, put another one in. It was just as bad as the first time. Maybe I'm stupid. Maybe I suck at doing that. But at that point, I had 7 other rivets that were mostly good, and the 8th one just was not cooperating. And I said, screw it. I'm just going to leave it there. If I try to drill it out again, I'm going to have to replace too many parts. And if that one rivet fails, then that's bad. But I will put it on my inspection list, and we'll see you next time.